Hey, be right back. Be right back. Hi. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's well and have an absolutely great Sunday. I know it's been a moment, so I hope everybody's good. Happy, 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 happy Sunday. I hope you made it to the church house today in some type of fashion or form, be it online and or streaming. So please, please share. Again, I know I haven't been live because I've been a busy girl. So I know I haven't been live in a little moment. So if you could do me the a great pleasure of please sharing, all you have to do is click the little share part. It is shareable for everybody. It is shareable for everybody. So just share, 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 share. I'm live and we're gonna have some great conversation. We're not gonna be long, but as my bishop says, we are going to be strong. So I have a guest with me tonight that I'm really, really excited about. As I'm making a this big announcement that I've been talking about for several weeks about my business. So first, let me say to all of those who sold in any type of way toward my 16-year business, thank you so very much. But it's not over. We're going to re-release the giving a donation option again tomorrow. Actually, we're going to re-release it again. And if my business has helped you in any type of way, in any type of fashion, I would love to have your donation. That's not easy to do. Okay. So sometimes as a creative, you want the ability to really rock out and do as much as you can by yourself. But the reality is, you need help. And so I'm growing, growing, growing as I'm growing, growing, growing. I've had to make some huge shifts in my business in order to properly serve people better. Because I think everybody thinks that creators, we just work 24 hours a day. And sometimes it is true. But the other part is the more sleep you have, the more rested you are, the better you create. So I have to take staycation days. Being on the road definitely helps. Attending concerts helps. Just doing things that keep the creative flow going. But the other part is just good old fashioned rest and walking and uh, eating right and taking care of yourself. So we're working on all of that stuff every single day because the summer is shortly arriving, and we're going to be sure that we can. Oh man, hi Pastor Thomas. Please stay with us because this is a really big announcement that I want a lot of people to hear. So please, please share. So it's really important that we work on all this stuff. So listen, the summer's coming. I'm trying to get fit because you may know it's a little bit more skin. So we're trying to we're trying to get all of that adjusted, right? Because we want to live a really, really, really long time. And singing with the lemon heads is not a joke. And I want to get better at it, whether it's with him or whether it's by myself. So I won't prolong the time. I have a really amazing announcement, and I have a really great person that I want to introduce to everybody. Now, listen, this is why I need you to like and I need you to share. Like today, like right now, like at this moment, this is like really huge. It's really important that you do. So if you see me looking down, it's just because I'm inviting some friends to join in the conversation because this is really, really big what I'm about to announce. And it's like, well, like so long overdue. And everybody's been trying to get me to do it for a really long time. And I wasn't always at a place. I just really think mentally to do it, and we've now really made the direction change. All right. So without further ado, okay. So I'm gonna announce someone. He's my really great friend. Uh, Friends are good and necessary. So I'm really grateful. So I'm gonna announce him. He's gonna tell you who he is, and then we're gonna get into this conversation. Okay. All right. So I'll ring on Terry Davis. Oh, you gotta unmute yourself.
Hello, hello.
So this is the Terry Davis, musician extraordinaire. Uh, you can't hire him to play keys, but you can't hire him to play the drums. So he's a phenomenal drummer, like crazy, crazy, crazy amazing. And he actually has a company that he's going to tell you about, and then we're going to talk about why he's here. All right, Terry, I'm going to what we call CNN you. Okay, just for a moment by yourself. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Uh-oh. Make sure I get it right. All right. Terry, you there? Sorry, y'all.
Yolanda, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a minute.
Yes, yeah,
It's been a
absolutely.
minute since I've been live.
I
Okay.
understand.
So, all right, Terry, there you go.
I am Terry Davis of North Carolina, and I am extremely happy to be working with Yolanda. And a few years ago, I started a company called Delivering Entertainment Now. Delivering Entertainment Now caters to church clients, and all types of clients who are looking for entertainment services. Um, One of my largest markets right now and open doors is the church market. And I receive lots and lots and lots of inquiries and leads to hire musicians, sound, media personnel, worship leaders, and musical directors, and to hire ministers of music for churches locally and abroad. And what we do is we we come together and we talk to the pastor, who's our client, and we do private virtual invitations to invite pastors in, and we offer them the services and explain to them the services that we have, and we sell our services, and we try to find them the best quality fit for their houses, for their churches. I also do third party vendors. I also do consulting, and I also do event management. And I have now broken out into actual management. I'm managing musicians, managing creatives, managing worship leaders for different assignments. And so that's a little bit about what I do. And so I'm excited to now officially be working with Mrs. Yolanda Morant of Wild Praise Music and Media. And she has welcomed me with open arms. And I'm excited to help her birth her next level and her next dimension in her company. So I'm really excited about that.
Mm-mm. So here's the big part. So yeah, it's been a minute since I've been live. So all your parts. All right. So here's the big part. For years, everybody has been encouraging me to get an assistant. I've been in business 16 years, and 16 years February. It's really like a little 16 plus, but it's officially 16. And so everybody's been encouraging me to get an assistant for years. Yolanda, you need assistant. Yolanda, you need help. But the reality is, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to put that in place. I didn't know how to have the conversation. I didn't know how it was going to work financially. It was just a lot. I don't know a lot of different ways, but I'm proud to announce that publicly that Terry Davis has decided, has given the okay. He's agreed for his company, Den Entertainment, to be assistants to Wild Praise Music and Media. So publicly meet my creative assistant, Terry Davis.
That's me.
So I'm super excited. In a really short amount of time, this happened in a really short amount of time, and sometimes he'll tell me not to say those parts, but sometimes things happen to force you to grow, and a lot of times we put things off for a really long time because of fear, lack of knowledge, just not sure how the angles are going to work. Sometimes, TD Jakes talked about distributing weight. There's a video on social media floating around about Bishop Jakes talking about distributing weight. And basically, he's saying that, he can't do it all, and if he does it all, something's going to go lacking. And so, if you can imagine, for 16 years, I've been doing it all. I have been the designer, the HR, the, if you're in church, you say treasurer. So I've been the accountant, I've been all of it. And I didn't complain because that's just the way it was. When I started doing graphics 16 years ago, social media didn't exist. There was no social media. The only thing that existed was MySpace, long time ago. So there was MySpace, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. None of, I mean, that was real far off. TikTok, none of those places existed. So I worked my business through my local community in Denver, Colorado, and through MySpace, to be honest. And people always ask me, well, how did you meet this person? How did you meet this person? Because I was always networking. I was always liking people's music, sharing people's music that, through those spaces, telling people about somebody else's music. There's a site that a lot of people don't know a lot about called Nothing But Gospel. And this guy used to keep me heavily uh, informed. because every month he would drop. This is long before all the stuff we have today. Every month he would drop a brand new playlist, and that's how I discovered artists. To be honest, like Kevin Lemons, and so many more. So I did it all by myself. But things happened to cause me to say I need help for real, and I'm finally ready to get that help and be open to that help. And so here comes Terry Davis
The
and
help.
the help. And so we were, I'm very transparent, and we were out to eat one night, and I said I've been thinking about it, and I said, hey, I have a question. I like to know, would you help me in my business? And if he doesn't mind me saying, he just said yes immediately. He didn't pause. He didn't. I was so shocked because I didn't expect him to say yes that fast. I actually expected him to say tell me no. He doesn't know that part. I expected him to tell me no.
Wow.
I expect him to say, nah, we friends, we cool. I don't wanna, sometimes those lines get messed up. But he said, absolutely. And he has been so wonderful. And I'm not just saying this because he's here, because I tell him this privately too. He's been so great in a short amount of days. Now, if you're my client, you may not yet be feeling the actual shift, but trust me, it is happening.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you're creative and you're a bit creative, I mean, you're like you have multiple gifts, you kind of need somebody to pull you in to say, hey, no, no, you should not accept this. And shout out to Claude Hamilton, who recently, had a brother sister conversation with me, and he was just like, "Yo, you've been here a long time, and because you've been here a long time, you definitely need to come up, right?" And so I think we got to have those kind of conversations with people. We got to have come up conversations. I'm not going to just talk the whole time, but we have to have come up conversations. I shared some with Terry the other night. I said sometimes you have to be willing to grow up and out, and a lot of times people don't want to because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like trying to wear the same shoe when you have a child and their feet go really, really quickly. And so it's like trying to still put that little Mickey Mouse shoe still on their feet, but they've grown out of it. It doesn't fit anymore. And the more you try to put their foot in the shoe, the more uncomfortable they become. It's that kind of process. But what happens is, I think a lot of times we cut a hole in the shoe so we can stick our little foot out so we can kind of be comfortable. The reality is the shoe doesn't fit. You have to go get some new shoes. So
Yeah.
in that term, I had to go get some new shoes. I had to say my company's growing leaps and bounds, and I need to do something new. So that's where we are in this process. Definitely shout out to the Clarence Hardy. Now, let me say this: if you don't know who this man is, you are missing out on somebody very, very wonderful. I want to
Absolutely.
shout out to him because Clarence Harding, I had the opportunity to work with Bishop Bloom for many years, doing graphics for him for many years. And Clarence Harding was my go-to. I didn't speak to Bishop a lot. I spoke to Clarence, and Clarence helped me understand my gift much better. He helped me understand how I needed to have conversation and talk so I can better understand processes. Clarence is wonderful when it comes to providing the process. So let me again. I don't want to talk the whole time. That's not my goal, but I do want to say this about Clarence. That I think people, and one day, when he's not traveling the world, doing all these amazing things that he's doing for everybody, maybe he can be here and kind of better um, give you a better understanding of what he does. But one thing he does, I've learned from him, is he helps present processes very well. And so when you're a part of, and it's not just church, when you're part of a ministry or business, one thing I tell people, you have to know the heartbeat of the business, of the ministry. Because when a person like myself, you hire us to do your graphics, or, it could be a lot of different things. If you're not able to present the heartbeat, If you're not able to present the vision, the mission, it's going to be hard for us to create. Now, there are creatives who don't have to have conversations. It's not necessary for them. They're totally fine with you giving them the ABCD, and they can work from there. That's just not how I'm crafted. That's not how I'm made. I have to have conversation, especially if you say, "Oh, I want to look like I want this." Well, conversation requires that, and so Clarence, that was something really key that I learned from Clarence Harding. So shout out to you, man. We love you. You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. So that's what's going on. So publicly, hey, I have brought on Terry Davis and then entertainment. So Terry talked about who he is. We talked about him being here. One thing I wanted Terry to share about is events. So let me say shout out that coming up is Stellar Weekend. Stellar Weekend is going to be in Atlanta this year for the first time in years. And everybody's going to start dropping flyers in just a moment about their events. Right. And so, first, I want to encourage this. If you are going to go to Stellar Weekend, I highly encourage that you get your hotel now, you get your Airbnb now, you get your rental car now. Because once they drop the dates, or the information about the actual live taping, all of that stuff is going to start flying and off the shelves. It's going to get really expensive really fast. So I highly encourage that if you're going to go, if you're thinking about going, that you get that all that business straight. Other part I want to say is if you are an artist and you're considering, but you're saying, well, I don't have this, I don't have music. Stellar Weekend is a great weekend to network. Don't go looking to get famous. That's the wrong perception to have. Hi, Claudia Hamilton. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for your conversation the other day. Uh, Stellar Weekend is not the weekend to get famous. Stellar Weekend is the weekend to network, meet artists, hang out with your friends, but it's definitely a great weekend to network. Networking at public events still works. And so being in the room, being present, presenting your best, looking your best. Don't just go to any all the events that you're a part of. Go to events that you're not a part of, that you've never been to, and you'll be surprised about the connections you can make. The people who want to make pure connections, okay? Keep your heart clean, real talk. Don't go trying to be famous. That's the wrong space, wrong weekend. The whole goal should be networking. If you're singing as an artist, presenting your best, doing your best, having a great time, enjoying the city, and doing all that wonderful stuff. Okay, but I want to talk this particular weekend, like Terry can get some insight on that part about artists maybe attending that type of weekend, things they should look to do. Sonia. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to, before I get into the whole events piece, I would like to share that I've had several years of experience in events and event management from Dallas, Texas to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Some things I was a part of virtually, other things I was a part of virtually and on site. And I'm telling you, there's no greater feeling for me than being a part of and helping to manage great events. And you mentioned, I got to give a shout out again to the name Clarence Harding. That's my dad. That's my friend. That's a close confidant. He was a part of the literally raising me and trained me in everything that I know regarding events. And shout out to M4 Media. I'm a part of his team, his company, and their third party vendor for all things that I do. An excellent 5-star company that is determined to make sure that corporate and church organizations and events are catered to and that they have what they need. It's an amazing, amazing company to be a part of with lots of integrity, lots of diversity,
Lots.
and lots of professionalism. So just I had to put that plug in there. And he's taught me so many things about the four P's. For those of you who may want to make some quick notes, he talked to me and taught me and trained me on packaging, on product, on promotion, and on distribution, the three P's and the D: packaging, product, promotion, and distribution. So just stick a pin there, and we'll be coming back to that at some point. Um, but events is it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a busy weekend. I guess I should start first, encouraging our musicians and our worship leaders, because I am both. I'm a part of that team and that industry. If you know that you're going to be in the area, my team, my people have encouraged me, Yolanda, to make sure that you package yourself and brand yourself for that weekend, letting people know that you're available if you know that you're going to be staying over, and that people know that you're going to be in the area. So there's an opportunity for you to be hired and to network for Sunday morning for worship experiences that will be in all over the city of Atlanta and the metro Atlanta area. And it's a great thing because there's going to be so much going on and so many things to be a part of. And so I absolutely encourage all worship leaders, all artists, and especially all musicians to make yourself prepared now for promoting yourself, letting people know that you are in the area and that you are part and would like to be a part of someone's ministry over the weekend that may not be participating in stellar events, just in case you know you're there until the Sunday or the Monday.
But can
That
I
is
point out
very
something right there? What you just said?
absolutely.
I want to emphasize some things as you go. So I know people are watching this and like, I got time and it's July. Let me help you. So I just got a little bird in my ear. They are going to drop the information as far as like tickets and things like that. And what we're talking about can be used, and Terry will elaborate. This can be used for anything really. But what's really important about this particular weekend is number one, it's going to be in Black Hollywood.
Yeah,
So everybody is going to be there, right? So people don't know it's about gospel music. A lot of the bigger choirs, let's say the Ricky Dillards, the Kevin Lemons, the Patrick Riddicks, all that, they're all on this side of the country. So it's a lot easier to move your choir, your group, or whatever have you, a state over, two states over, from let's say from DC to Atlanta versus DC to Las Vegas. So a lot of it's going to be happening really, really fast.
yeah,
So if you watch this today, tomorrow, let's say next week, I highly encourage that you reach out to a pastor that you know, a pastor maybe you've made a connection with, and just reach out, say, "Hey, I'll be in your city. I like the opportunity to worship at your church." I'm gonna take all of what Terry said. I just want to encourage you. Do not wait. Don't put it off because those slots and or opportunities are gonna fly real fast. Okay, here.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Prepare yourself for the blessing, prepare yourself for the open door that's coming, and make sure that you are ready for what is coming. Preparation precedes blessing. So you want to be prepared for what's coming so that you can receive the harvest that's within that blessing. Also, I would like to touch on event preparedness. If you know that you're going to be a part of events, and this is for all creatives, from musicians, again, artists, worship leaders, a manager, an assistant. If you know you're going to need extra coverage, this is the perfect time now to start shopping other vendors and extra help for that week and
Mhm.
that weekend, so that you know you have all your bases covered. If you know you have six artists that are going to be in one city and you know you're not able to accommodate, this is the perfect time to shop virtual assistants. This is the perfect time to hire on-site assistants that will be um, available through other companies. And we're asking that if you have a company and you know you're going to be in Atlanta, be sure to drop your information in the chat so that we can make connection and network with you as well. But having that extra support for the rush, for the weekend, for the week, it's going to be very, very necessary, and it's going to be a necessity to your success. Last minute planning will cause so much confusion and
Mhm.
frustration during the time of all the quick moving that's going on. And this is another point I would like to drop on you for those that are listening. Lack of planning on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on another person's part. Okay. So if you decide that you're going to start moving at the last minute, that's not necessarily an emergency for someone else because you decided to prepare at the last minute. Be very considerate, be very professional, understand that everybody doesn't move like you, and this is the perfect time. Pastors, worship leaders, sound techs, media assistants, designers, those who are doing graphics, those who are all a part of all of these types of this huge industry that we're in, but separate networks and tunnels to those networks. Please now start preparing, stack your money up, make your connections, have your resources together so that you can make an investment in what you're doing. You have to invest in what you're doing so that you can see a greater harvest. And the harvest may not necessarily come during the same weekend or that same week. You may see the fruits of the labor from July in October. It may come forth in October. So you want to prepare. You never know the type of business that's going to be fluctuating for all of us during that time. And so I know for me, I'm going to have it's almost like having an extra charge and an extra battery pack. You know, you're going to be moving around. You don't want to have a dead cell phone. You want to make sure you got your charging packs together. You want to make sure that you got your virtual or your digital business cards together. Or for some who are still using physical business cards, you want to make sure you have all that stuff together. In case you get booked for a church, you want to make sure that you have the proper pictures that work for your press kit. You want to make sure that pictures are updated and things like that for the ministry to use for promotions for the ministry. And that can even be from ministers of music. That can be from musicians. Anyone that is seeking employment or looking to network and is expecting something to come out of it tangibly, you want to make sure that the client that is paying you feels like they've gotten their money's worth. You don't want people to have to run around and look for pictures that are not professional or appropriate for church. You want to make sure that everything is in its proper place so that you can receive, again, the harvest that you're looking for. That's going to be very, 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 very important.
I agree with everything you said. So something I want to point out. So being prepared, you never know who's going to call. I always tell them myself. So I was at Elevation one Sunday with my great friend Alan, and he introduced me to the youth pastor. This happened probably about 2 years ago. And if anybody knows me, I'm a girly girl, so I always have this beautiful bag, beautiful big bag. And he asked me for my business card. Now I did have them, but they were way down in the bottom part of my purse, um, probably next to some nail polish and some glitter. And I had set my purse down. I'm digging, and let me tell you something. I always telling myself I was so greatly embarrassed, and I made a decision that day. I said I will never let this happen to me again, because what he just said, you never know. Ooh, that was good. You never know when opportunity is going to come to you. I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea I would be introduced to the youth pastor that day. I didn't even know my friend knew who the youth pastor was. So I can't tell you what opportunity I did or did not miss, because the first thought, if it was reversed, well, why are they way down in the purse? Why is she gonna do?
Yeah.
So be prepared. So that day, probably the next day, if not the next day after that, I got a business card holder, and I'm just listen. I believe in saving funds. I went to Rainbow at the counter at the Rainbow store, right? Sometimes we can grab a quick shirt or something like that, and they had business card holders. They were $3, and I bought a business card holder, and I put my business card, and now I keep it in a compartment right in my bag that I can get to very quickly. You say, Yolanda, that's not a big deal. It is a big deal because you don't know who you're going to encounter. And so let's say another situation today. Um, Someone gave me their business card. You don't know who they are, so I'll be nice, Terry. The business card was outdated. It was hard to read. The picture was blurry. And they now what I commend them for is having the business card. I do commend them for that. But the business card needed to be redone, if you will. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a graphic designer. So all I'm saying to you is, have your virtual part ready.
Yes.
Right when I go to your social media, If I can't figure out who you are in 2 minutes, it's not good. So if I'm
Absolutely.
giving, I had to separate myself, right? Until you can jump in at any time, but I'm telling you things I had to do myself. At one time, everything bled together. It was the graphics and the media and my nieces and my nephews. It was just all in one place. We had to separate the spaces a couple years ago. So now, even though I don't always like have enough content to post about me ministry wise, you know what I did? I take one video, I break it down. So you may see a minute here, you may see a minute there. And I break that content down because what should happen is when you come to my Instagram, when you come to my Facebook, it should be a clear indication who I am without you having to go down several lines.
Absolutely.
People will stop. Let me tell you where we are right now. Social media is like the brand new highway. So, when you're riding down the highway, you have about less than 30 seconds to read the billboard. That's why the information on the billboard, this is a message. That's why the information on the billboard is so short. Because when people are driving by, they don't have time to read 6 lines. That's why it's always so short. That's why the information is big and it's clean and it's sharp because you're riding by and you only have so long to look at the Chick-fil-A cow, right?
Yeah.
Same thing happens now on social media. Social media is the brand new highway. So what happens is if someone going to your Facebook, or someone's going through your Instagram and they say, "Oh, well, who's that thinking?" They need to look. They need to see clear indication of who you are, what you're doing. It needs to sound good. It needs to look good. And then people you never know. So have your virtual part ready, and then have your. I'm saying this on the graphic end. Have your virtual part ready, and then your business card. So you're gonna do Stellar Weekend. If you're gonna, hey, whatever else is coming up, through the summer. You listen. You can be at Six Flags. You never know who you're gonna meet. And when you hand them your business card, it should be clean, it should be crisp. The phone numbers should work. The social medias information should be current. The
Mhm.
website should work. If your website is down, take it off your business card. Okay.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And I want to touch on, you just hit something, and I've got to go there.
Green.
I have to absolutely go there. That's my spiritual mother, Paula Green. Yolanda, I'm going to be connecting you with her. She's going to be sending some business your way. You are going to absolutely enjoy it. Um, the biggest, and another really really big thing for me is presentation. Presentation. I was traveling with a client some time ago, and we had a day or two off from ministry. And we got to the city 2 days early before we had to do our ministry presentation. Yolanda, we were there for a conference. And the client, for some reason, was in vacation mode. And her assistant hadn't gotten her clothes to the city yet. And so the client got a call. We received a call when they found out that the client was in town for them to come and minister spontaneously at a large ministry. The client had no clothes. The client wasn't prepared. The client didn't know how to prepare their own clothing at that time because they're used to being prepared for the preparedness from an assistant or, a person who handles their clothes. And it was an opportunity lost because of not being prepared and not being ready for presentation. All she had was Nike outfits and Adidas clothing. Could she have probably bought something? She probably could have. But because she wasn't used to doing that, she was not prepared. She said, "Well, what should we do? What should we do?" I said, "I don't do clothes. I don't do clothing. That's not my thing." So it would have cost much more to have clothes with you at all times that we could have had with us even on the 2 days off before the ministry presentation, because you never ever ever know what's going to come. So what does that mean for those that are coming for the weekend and for the week? You shouldn't, honestly. You're gonna be People are gonna be taking pictures. People are gonna be doing all kinds of stuff that's gonna be going on with and without our permission. So you know what that means? You need to have some clothes with you at all times. You need to be camera ready at all times. You don't know, somebody could get sick. You could be called to fill in for something. Even at the least, you should have a couple of wonderful black outfits, some clothes that are nice, sleek, some clothes that slim your figure, some clothes that make you look camera ready. There's going to be makeup artists and people in town, hairstylists. That's one of the hair capitals of the world. Of the states. You can't. I mean, it's Atlanta. Some if you're going to be around for 3 and 4 and 5 days, 7 days during that time, you might have to have your hair touched up twice. You might have to have your hair done, then touched up again, because you're going to be walking into some doors that are unplanned. And if the door is knocking and you're not ready to walk through the door because you're not prepared, you don't have the clothing, you're out and about. Atlanta traffic is terrible, so you almost need to have your bag with you when you're moving around so that you're prepared for whatever's coming. And if you don't want to be seen, then just stay low key and stay out of the public. But if you're going to be in the public, it's grind time. We've been down for 2.5 years. A lot has happened. A lot of people have lost a lot. And so now it's time to come back with a greater um, push and a greater grind to make things happen for yourself. Be prepared. Be prepared. Be ready. Don't allow yourself to die because you don't have your producer, or because you don't have your band, or because you don't have this, or because you don't have that. Always have a backup plan in place. Have a backup outfit in place. Have a backup system in place. Have backup protocol in place. Even again, if you have to make the investment. Start saving for the investment so that your best of your brand can be on display all the time that you're going to be there for that weekend. I'm telling you, you're going to regret it if you're not prepared. You're going to regret it. And you want to be in place. You want to have all things together. You want to have more than enough black shoes. You don't want to be running around trying to buy stuff. If you know you're at that level where you don't, you're handling your own stuff. You want to be prepared. You want to have everything in place. Musicians, you want to have everything in place. You want to be running around calling people at the last minute, making posts on Facebook, asking somebody about an amp or asking somebody about gear. You want to have all that stuff mapped out before you get into the city, because I'm telling you, traffic alone will set you back and cause you to miss several things going on for a couple of hours, not to mention accidents and this and that. And so you want to just really be prepared. I can't stress that enough. As much as you can be, you want to be prepared. You want to have things thought out. You want to put systems in place so that you have everything you need. What you got, Yolanda? I know you got something.
Yeah. Oh, see why I heard him. This is great. So
In
he
other
said,
words, don't get found and caught with your works undone. You want to have your
yeah,
works
don't,
together.
and everything he's saying can be applied to
Yes, to all of
actually
us.
to anything. This is not just contained
Anything.
on the weekend. I really have been wanting to talk about this for weeks and weeks. People think, oh, it's just for still weekend. Nope, nope, nope. Because when we talked about tracks, I can't tell you how many times I've been in a room. I'm sure and I know I've experienced it myself where, oh, your phone died because your tracks are in your phone.
Yeah,
Or the CD, if you go a traditional route, the CD didn't work, it's scratched. So that means you have to come prepared. And you know what Terry just made me do? I used to travel with a separate device that
that's right.
just had my music on it alone. If you're using track just a separate device, it wasn't anything extremely fancy. It was just a Samsung tablet, and all it had on it was that music. And I would care. Let me tell you something. You have to be me using someone, Crystal Aiken, a really good friend of mine, Crystal Aiken. Yes, from Sunday Best. She is always prepared. She carries the music on a separate device. She has the CD, and she would carry the aux cord in
That's
case
right.
she got somewhere and they didn't have. I can't tell you how many places times. Oh, we don't have that aux cord. And then if you're really tech savvy and you have the more current iPhone, the all of these had changed. So all of the plugins, all of those had changed. So she would carry her own aux cord. She was just prepared for whatever was getting ready to come down her path. So in that being said, yes. Listen, if you're okay, so if you're a girl and you're the high heel girl, well, if you haven't been wearing heels for 2 years, your feet are definitely going to tell you about it. Okay. So that means what you need to carry some flats. You need to carry some nice flats that if you have to come out of them, They're still nice. They're still appropriate. I so agree with you, Terry. I can't tell you how many times I've been somewhere and a drummer didn't have sticks.
Yeah,
It's like, hey
that's
man,
crazy to me. That is absolutely crazy. That is like the minimum for our level of what we do at our profession at any level. You want to have, unless you have some drum tech that's available everywhere you go. And shout out to all the drum techs who hold us down. Thank God for you, because we would not make it if we didn't have you. But you want to make sure. I mean, you absolutely can't be a drummer and be somewhere where we're the entire weekend involved is the entire weekend is all about music and events. Music is centered literally, it's the nucleus of everything that we're doing the entire weekend. You just got to be prepared, unless you don't want to be hired and unless you're not looking for an opportunity for a door to open. You have to have drumsticks, musicians. You got to have your basics. You got to have your snare, your pedal, your sticks. You got to have a few plates, what I call a cymbals. You got to have your backpack. You got to have your chargers. You got to have things. You want to be able to get footage. You want to be able to get content of the events that you're part of, the people that you're meeting. Musicians, especially you, worship leaders, again, all media personnel, have your updated digital card. I know she said it, but I got to say it again. Have your updated digital business card. Do not expect people to have to run around and try to find, like she said, your Instagram or your Facebook. And it's J. Dot ADAC 395. We can't. You're stressing us out. You're stressing us out. It's too much. Have it together. If you know you don't check email, don't give somebody email that you know you don't check. If you
that's
want to do proper business, you need to be able to use your email. I'm not texting you all the business plans and documents and details. You need to have an email. You need to have a business email, and it doesn't need to be, ladies, your email can't be thick thought 3946 at Gmail. Whew, whew, whew. Guys, it can't be big biceps 49 on Ninth Street at Yahoo. What are we doing? If you're into music, if you're into entertainment, those are just some key words to use for what you do. So and so booking, so and so entertainment, so and so music company. Let's have our stuff together so that we don't look, I'll use the term silly, so that we don't look silly as we're trying to rebirth and rebrand who we are. The last 2 years have been very, very tough for people. And I think this is an opportunity for us to come together as a music community to redeem the time, but also make sure that we have our stuff together. So that's
yes,
very, very, very important.
yes. Everything
And
you
oh,
said.
one more thing. I
Oh,
just thought about
please.
something. And the reason why these virtual assistants and creative assistants and directors and management is so important. For those of you who know you are artists or you're musicians and or anybody in the media or music, and you know you don't do well with talking to people. You know you don't do well with talking to people, and you need someone to handle your business. You need to have your stuff together. I've met quite a few potential clients that were introvert, and they're taking calls and they're giving out contact information for them to be in control of, but they're not returning calls. They're not responding to emails. They're not good with handling the business. That's the purpose for hiring a guy like myself. And there are several other, there are virtual assistants all over that are there to help you so that they can handle the business and you can sit back and receive the service. I mean, people can receive the service from you and you can receive the compensation from the service because you made the investment in having the proper people in place and on your team to make it happen.
Absolutely. It is really imperative that you have the proper people in place. I definitely want to give a shout out to Gabriel Titus, who is the owner of Pushing. Let me make sure you don't fuss at me. But he is a promoter in the Atlanta area. He also promotes things outside of the Atlanta area. Keep it pushing. Keep pushing. I'm sorry. Keep pushing promotions. And so he's an amazing promoter in the Atlanta area. Let me say this: he is doing an event. Um, so I can, get my hook up. No, so he is doing an event in Atlanta, Georgia, during Stellar Weekend. It's going to be July 14th. And so what you should do is follow him at Keep Pushing Promotions. Keep Pushing Promotions. That's all it is. Keep Pushing Promotions. And let me say this: he's really great at promoting. You can reach out to him. It's not free, but you can reach out to him about promoting your event. He's looking for vendors for his event, all this kind of stuff. Let me tell y'all something. I'm telling y'all what I know. I've been doing Stellar Weekend maybe a little under 10 years, and the trend is that it's quiet for a long while. It's quiet, like quiet sea. And then all of a sudden, people start dropping flyers and stuff just goes hand and it just gets really busy really fast.
Yeah,
Don't
really
play
fast.
with it. Don't feel like I have time and I have this, I have that. You really won't. And again, this doesn't just apply to Stellar Weekend because I don't really want to make you seem like the focus is that. This applies to just being an artist, just being a creative, period. Just doing events and event planning, period. Just the best thing to do is if you think it needs to be there, have it there. If it seems important,
Hmm.
then it needs to be there. Don't assume that it's just done. That's the
Yeah,
worst thing you can do. If you think a permit is required for something, you really should find out. Don't assume that you can just do something in a space. I'll make sure I correct this. And just keep pushing promotions and inspirational music experience. Two companies. Please follow him. He's doing an amazing event Stellar Weekend. He says, yes, not free, but I'll look out for you seriously. And he really does look out. He's looking for 3 vendors during Stellar Weekend. So if you sell braces, if you sell t-shirts, I don't know if he's taking food vendors, maybe something that's already prepared, maybe cupcakes or something like that. But I promise you, there's going to be a lot of people in this room. So, again, I want to say this is not the weekend. Okay, this is really polite. This is not the weekend to be famous. Okay. This is not the weekend to be grand. This is not that.
absolutely,
This is the weekend because
absolutely
we're all
not.
coming back together for the first time in a long time fully. Stellar Weekend last year, it kind of happened in parts. First, it was just virtual, then they let the people in. This is not like that. This is all coming back together in Black Hollywood in a very populated city. It is going to be mayhem. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be people everywhere. And there are other events going on outside of Stellar Weekend that weekend for sure. So get your car with, take care of your business, your hotel. Listen, I believe in buddying up. Find people that you know, that you love, that you can hang out with, that you all get along, and get an Airbnb and split those costs. Get a big hotel room. You're never going to be in there. Get a big hotel room and split those costs, and you don't have to try to, come home and try to figure out how you're gonna pay your bills. That's not responsible adulting. So you can go, you can have fun, but find ways to make it the best experience. Also, I want to be sure I plug the glam room. Um, because Terry did mention about hair, makeup. So the glam room, the real glam room, actually, they do hair, makeup, not just women, but guys, hair, makeup, fresh haircuts, shape ups. They do all of that on site during Stellar Weekend. More details to follow. Okay. So what else can we talk about, Terry? What else are you willing to share? Just in general. I want to make sure I say this one thing. Permits. There is a. I don't want to miss say this, but it's really important that you not assume that you can do something somewhere. And so a national cook had an event at someone's Airbnb and they did not have the proper permission to do that. They had dozens of people in the person's home and they're being faced with some, charges and things like that. So whatever the rules are, let's since I'm a Christian, he's a Christian, we believe in Jesus. Let's follow the rules, please. Like if people have whatever their parts are, don't assume you can break the rules. If they say no events in their space, don't try to connect a 20-person event in the space. And some people say you shouldn't have to say that, but we've seen this stuff happen 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying let's do what we do a whole lot better. Okay. Terry,
Yes, ma'am. Where do we go from here?
where
You've
do we
covered
go
so
from here?
much.
So I
Where
want
do
to
we
recap
go?
first. I want to make sure everybody knows this is my brand new, first time ever. It's not like brand new that was someone before him. This is my brand new for the first time ever creative assistant Terry Davis. So if you're my client and you're here and you're like, who's this guy? He is my creative assistant Terry Davis Jr.
I'm not the creative assistant. Just tell them the truth. I'm here to get the money. I'm here to get the money and keep the bills paid.
He's a
It's
creative
my
assistant, but
job.
he is really helping me to think forward. He is pulling, I have no problem saying he's pulling my coattail. He's like, nope, you gotta shut it down. You gotta go to bed, homie. Like it's a wrap. And I just really, as creatives, I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's vitally important that you have people in your space like that. Let me say this, even if they're not working with your business, it is vitally important. I'm gonna make sure I always address creatives that you have people in your life, in your space, in your circle, in your tribe, whatever name you give it, that tell you the truth, that keep you accountable, that pull your coattail, that say you were wrong. Because sometimes creatives, we're very sensitive, and sometimes we feel like, no, they did me wrong. Shout out to one graphic designer, Clinton, Joseph Anthony, who pulled the coattail of some, designers a couple weeks ago and said we need to do better customer service. And so a lot of times as creatives, we get in our bag and we feel like, nope, it was their fault. I didn't do anything wrong, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes we were at fault. So it's best to accept responsibility for your part. And you need people, hear me and hear me clearly, singers, artists, graphic designers, just creative musicians, uh, and just respectfully, even pastors. You need people, leaders, CEOs. Listen, if you cut hair, if you whatever you do, you need people in your life, in your space, who tell you the truth and they still love you. They tell you the truth and you honor them. I always say it's important to be a part of a body, a part of a church where you honor the leader, because when you honor them and they tell you you're wrong, you can accept it and you can correct it and we can move on to the next part. It's like in the Bible, it says, honor thy mother and father, right? You're going to have a hard time doing what you're asked to do by your parent if you don't honor them. So you need to be around people that you honor so that when you're out of sync, you can get yourself back in order again. You need to have people in your life that tell you you got to shut this down or you need to go away. And so when you get the space or you get comfortable or you out of your fear space and you can say, I'm going to bring somebody on that loves you, that cares about you and not just the business. That's what I needed more than a company who did it. I needed someone who cared about me enough to pull my coattail and say, "Hey, you need to get this order. What happened to this part? How come you didn't do this part?" Those are important things.
Absolutely. And that's what I have that and I have that same support system as well with my company and as a musician, as a worship leader, even as a motivational speaker or mentor, I have those things as well. And it's imperative that we have them because there are times when you need to just shut down so that your body can recuperate and your brain can rest and recover and restart for the next day or for the next few weeks so that you can continue to be creative. Other than that, you're going to go into overload and it's going to be a disaster.
And
So,
absolutely agree. And absolutely agree.
and I
So
appreciate you for the opportunity to work with you. It's a great journey, and I'm very very excited about what's to come.
I'm excited. Um this has been good. It was a major shift that happened in my business. And the shift has, so I'm gonna say this last part because Telly really did say, he said, okay, we're not gonna, we are not, let me say this. Shifts do happen. Shifts do happen. And when they happen, you have to be okay with it. And the longer you pull your feet and longer you like, no, you tussle with it, the harder it's gonna be to adjust. And so when the shift happened, it wasn't easy, but I said, okay. And this is honest because, again, we're believers. God has made up the difference. What I
Yes.
thought I was going to lose, I didn't lose at all. In not even weeks, in days, He made up what I thought I was going to lose. So, it's okay to just, sometimes you just have to move on, and not go back to what you used to do. That's something really, really important. So I just want to recap. This is my brand new assistant, Terry Davis, a creative assistant, whatever term you like. You can be the boss. I could just do the work. The other thing is Stellar Weekend. The Stellar Awards weekend is July. Approximate dates are actually July 16th through the 18th. So really like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's what I would plan for. Um, unless you want to, unless you have to be back at your church, but at least plan for, I'm sorry, for like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's actually the 14th through the 16th. That's the dates they put out. But, if you choose to stay over and hang out in Atlanta and attend um, New Birth or William Murphy's Church. There's amazing places to go. The other thing is please vote for Kevin Lemons and Higher Calling. It's still, uh,
Woo-hoo-hoo.
please vote for us. All you have to do is go to thestellarawards.com and you can vote. And listen, somebody really has worked really, really hard to put out amazing music, not just us. And so vote for your favorite artist. A lot of people are up for awards like Dawkins and Dawkins, and of course, Ricky Dillard and Jacqueline Carr, and the list goes on. Red Hands, if you know who they are. So please, please take a time. It only takes about 2 or 3 minutes. Just go through the list, vote. And the other thing is, I will be, my birthday is coming. It is Taurus season. So my birthday is coming. So what I decided to do is do a little give back. So the whole month of May, only for birthdays, and it has to, here's the rules. It has to be your birthday. It can't be the birthday party. It can't be the birthday music or the birthday get together. Okay, it's just the birthday flyer, your birthday, that alone. So birthday flyers are going to be on sale the whole month of May. It's tourist season, so if it's your birthday, I want to celebrate with you. You can celebrate with me. My birthday is May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, that same day, and so I'm excited. It's my birthday, and so that's pretty much it. I just want to pray for the creators before we log off, because I think that's an important thing. If you're creative, life can be interesting sometimes.
Oh yeah.
It can be very overwhelming. Sometimes it can just feel like the whole world's sitting on top of you. Sometimes if you're creative or you're a full-time entrepreneur, checks don't come every 2 weeks. They may come once a day. They may come once a month. Hustle life is not as wonderful as it appears. There's some benefits, but it can be hard. So I always want to take a moment to uplift creatives and do that. Is that okay with you?
Let's do it.
Okay, you want me to pray?
Sure.
You want to pray, Pastor?
You should pray.
Okay, so let's pray. Let's pray. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did, shout out to Gabe again, Gabriel Titus, and keep pushing promotions as well as inspirational music entertainment. Clarence Harding, all the pastors are logged on tonight. If you see this tomorrow, next week, or next year, listen, please share the information. Doesn't change no matter what's going on. Okay, do your best, be your best, be your best self. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for life. Thank you for health. And thank you for strength, God. Thank you for another day that you've given us. And I pray that you bless every creative that is watching this broadcast that will see it today, tomorrow, or whenever it is you deem it so. I pray in the name of Jesus that you give us supernatural creative power. You are the greatest creative that will ever exist. And you've given us these great gifts, and they are endless. And so I pray that this week we're able to take our gifts to the next level. We're able to do what some things that we've never done before. Help us to move out of fear. Help us to do it afraid. Help us to do it big and help us to do it great. Help us to do something that Jacqueline White mentioned today is to let you be big. God, so we pray that you be big in our creative spaces, whether we're a musician, whether we're a singer, whether we're a writer, whether we're a graphic designer, whether we create films and we bring things to life on camera, whatever it is that you've given us to do, I pray that we no longer do them halfway, that we do them big and we do them wonderful and we do them with grace. Help us to be gracious to each other and gracious to ourselves. God, help us to take care of our bodies because it's the only body we get. So help us to take care of it inwardly and outwardly, to watch what we put inside of it, watch what we put in our ear gates, watch what we put in our mouth inside of our bodies, but also watch what we expose ourselves to, our mental space, who we expose ourselves to. Help us expose ourselves to people that will help us be our best selves. Thank you for Terry. Thank you for his business. Thank you for the expansion that you're bringing to his life, the expansion that you're bringing to his health and to his wealth, the expansion that you're bringing to his music, his creativity, everything he's a part of. Thank you for blessing this man who is blessing my life, who is blessing my mental space, who is helping me to become. And so we're grateful and we're thankful that you are an amazing God and that you always do amazing things. Thank you for your love. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen. And please look out. We will be doing a part two. Didn't want to give too much out tonight, but we will be doing a part two to this. And there's much more details and lots of information to come. So be looking out for that.
Absolutely. And yes, so please be sure to share. You can share it. You can, if you watched it and you got stuck on something, just push rewind and watch it again. All right. Thank you so much. Have an absolutely positively amazing night. Listen, live your best life because you only get one. Night.
Good night. Have a great night.